Hello, and welcome to James and the Frames. I'm your host, James, and here I talk about some of the greatest frames ever filmed while discussing film related topics with you guys. This is our 14th episode, and I'm super excited to finally talk about a very underrated film that everybody should see Short Term 12. From 2013. Written and directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, the synopsis is as follows. Calm and competent, Grace is a young counselor at a California care unit for at-risk teens. However, her cool facade begins to crack in the pressure cooker atmosphere as she and some of the unruly residents are reminded of past and present abuses. Now, I had already seen this film a little while back, and I gotta say, I didn't pay much attention to it when I first saw it. But I rewatched it a couple days ago, and man, what a ride. This film is masterful. It's masterful filmmaking. It's a personal and captivating film. It is one of a kind. It's so realistic in its depiction of human emotion. It's so raw and just, I'll say it again, masterful. It leaves you breathless until the credits roll. And I congratulate Destin Daniel Cretton for giving us not just an independent masterpiece, but a beautiful and heartfelt film. And it's definitely moved up on my favorite films list. The performances are outstanding. From everyone, the performances are just great. Brie Larson does an amazing job, as well as John Gallagher Jr., who you might recognize from Hush. He played the guy trying to break into the house in Hush. I don't know if you guys knew that. And this is also one of Lakeith Stanfield's first films. He was originally in the short film, Short Term 12, that was released in 2009. He's the only actor to have stayed from that short film into the feature film. And he knocks it out of the park. I mean, he does such a good job. He really steals the show in the scenes that he's in. My attention was completely devoted towards his character whenever he had something to say, because he brings such fragility and intelligence to his character that it's so interesting to watch him perform. And he is an actor that I've kept my eye on in the past few years. I recognized him in Get Out, and then I followed him to Sorry to Bother You, which is another great film. If you like films like Parasite, it has similarities to Parasite. And if you guys don't agree with me on that, I can point out some similarities. But he later appeared in Knives Out, and he's just been in everything. He's been in Atlanta, which is a great show. And he's one of my favorite up-and-coming actors. He was also in Uncut Gems, I forgot to say. He was in Uncut Gems, but he definitely knocks it out of the park. And this film has one of Rami Malek's lesser-known performances. He plays a newcomer to the care unit. He's this outsider coming into this world of different aspects of human life, good and bad, and he is kind of a fish out of water in that situation, and he plays the character very well. And he has a nice little subtle character development throughout the film that I deeply appreciated. But probably the most standout performance of this film comes from Brie Larson. She is magnificent. She transforms into the character she's playing. And I have the privilege to say that for this film. And I know when an actor has accomplished that they're really good. They're really, really good. And Brie Larson is really, really good in this film. Her chemistry with John Gallagher Jr. also is fantastic. It is so realistic, and I will keep going back to this point. This film is very realistic, and I say realistic, you feel like you're watching a documentary. Because all the performances and the subtle handheld cinematography, by the way, the cinematography is great in this movie. It's mostly handheld, which gives it a very homey feeling, but also a documentary style feeling. And I go back to that point. This film is basically a glimpse into somebody's life and how that person's life is affected by those around her. especially when this new girl comes into the youth center, into the care unit. She has a lot of similarities with Brie Larson's character, and they develop a relationship over the course of the movie that is really heartfelt and very touching. And while I'm talking about character interactions, the writing is brilliant. It's brilliantly written. It's not even a factor that I have to go into points or details for because it all flows perfectly. I'm not getting into any spoilers for this review, and I'm keeping this review episode kind of short because something big is coming next week, and I just want to give you guys a little breather in terms of longevity in these episodes. So the opening scene of this film still just draws me in every time I see it. It's the way the characters talk and think and behave. In the opening scene, a character is telling a funny story, and I was actually laughing because the character tells the story that well. And you feel like you're in on the joke, like you're right there next to that person. And where there's comedy in this film, there is also a lot of deeply emotional and very difficult themes that this film manages to portray in a really compelling way. There's a lot of scenes in this film that may be hard for some people to watch. There's a couple scenes that I definitely teared up. One in particular being, again, Lakeith Stanfield. He does a bit where he raps out a song, and the way his voice changes throughout the song as he's rapping the song. It's just two people sitting in a room, one playing a simple beat on a bongo, and the other person being Lakeith Stanfield rapping. It's such a simple setup, yet the delivery is so well done. And you're going to find that a lot in this film. There's going to be a lot of very simple, compact shots that only tell you what you need to know in the moment. There's not a lot of dollies. There's not a lot of intricately planned shots or crane movements. This film was made for under $1 million. I still admire what they were able to do with that budget. And it shows, but in a good way, because that aesthetic and that limitation is, in my opinion, what this film needed. And it pulls it off really well. Now, I'm not going to go into any spoilers or anything like that because this time I really want you guys to see this film. It is a film that everybody needs to see. It is criminally underrated. It is one of the best of 2013. It's definitely in my top 3 of 2013, among the ranks of Prisoners and Her. Just right up there. This film is beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. And to sum it all up, Short Term 12 is a showcase of masterful filmmaking with outstanding performances and a story that's just so impeccably executed. It leaves you breathless at the end, and it's a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 for me. I cannot recommend this enough. It is available to watch on YouTube. It is actually on YouTube. You guys can go watch it on YouTube, or you can watch it somewhere else, but it is available to watch on YouTube as of now, so go check it out on YouTube. If not, you can buy it off of Google Play or Amazon or wherever. But please do take the time. It's only only a little above 90 minutes, and it's not going to take too much time out of your day. So wrapping up, Short Term 12, brilliant film. I don't have any Q&As. I'm going to save them for the next episode because I might have a guest on, and I want to make it interesting. So, thank you guys for listening. We just passed 200 downloads, which I am very happy about, and I thank you all for listening and sharing and commenting and being the marvelous listeners that you are. But for now, this has been James and the Frames. There's a special episode coming next week. I will see you guys after the credits.